America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda. Yacht Club project update, financing, budget guidance, basically handout, Bill Cordwell, section 600 sign regulation update from me, discussion on motion on budget and finance assistance to the board, Jack Collins, liaison reports, if any, and adjournment, any changes or adjustments to the agenda. Okay. Let me just start things off today with a kind of a reinforcement of what these sessions are designed to be. We don't want them to expand over into a second board meeting. We're here to receive information, make sure we understand it, not necessarily debate it back and forth. And we tried, when we started these things, to try to do them within an hour, so I would like to try to see if we can. Don't put any money in Vegas on that, but I would like to try. That's okay with everybody. With that being said, and no objection to my words I just said, I will turn it over to Bob Thompson.
All right,
And to Sharon O'Hare, excuse me.
Close enough. One thing I want to reiterate, please, at these sessions, we let the presenter give their report in total, keep your questions, and then at the end of that, then the board members will go around the table, any questions you may have. To clarify, remember this is not there's no voting done here, this is just clarification. And then anybody in the audience would like to have any comments, it certainly has happened at that point. Okay, Bob, it's all yours.
with the board's permission, I'm going to call Ed and Ronnie.
Sure.
That's fine. Thought I'd bring him into the...
Hello?
Hey, Ted. It's Bob.
Hey,
You're on speaker, so don't say a whole lot bad.
okay.
Welcome, Ted.
Thank you. I think.
All right, we're going to get started on the Yacht Club. I'll give you an update on information. I have pulled information together about a number of things going on, and I'll run through these, and then afterwards, once you guys have had time to do it, anything else I need to make copies of, I will at the end. We're going to start right at explanation of equipment removed from the Yacht Club. If you recall, we discussed equipment was pulled out of the Yacht Club. What we did was have our team, as they pulled it out, make note of each piece of equipment, the condition of the equipment. And what we've done here, if everybody may or may not know Butch Kennedy. Butch has been with us for a while, owned his own HVAC business, knows a lot about equipment and hookups and all those type of things. So he's kind of the lead when it comes to our equipment. He went through each of these items, and what we did was item one, the walk-in freezer and refrigerator from the main kitchen were in such bad shape. Completely, the floor was all rotted out when they started taking it apart. All of the insulation. What happens is a walk-in is basically a metal shell framed out in wood with insulation, some sort of insulation around it. But over years, that moisture and everything that built up, that insulation starts to deteriorate, the wood starts to deteriorate, and when you start taking it apart 20, 30, 40 years later, like we did, these things were just starting to fall apart. So that's example one. What Butch then did was get an approximate cost if we were going to replace that particular item. And that's where this would be the replacement cost based on that same piece of equipment now. Okay? And you see as he went through, he went down each of these. There's notes on each of them, different components. I was really surprised that some of them had actually been in the building from the inception. You know, it has been in there 30, 35, 40 years. I mean, there's some old equipment. Now, if you recall, over the last 3 or 4 years, as we've gone through the equipment, we identified things that were breaking that we wanted to replace, that we wanted we're trying to decide what to do. We kept patching things, but we never spent the money to replace items because we weren't sure over the last few years what we're going to do with the facility. Finally, when that decision was made, and we started the referendum, got that through, and we started our building, when we started pulling things out, that's when we realized the true extent and the condition of some of the equipment. Page 2 shows some of the equipment. There are 4 items there listed of equipment that's being repurposed for several of these pieces have been moved over to the country club. Example, item 2, glass door coolers. They are older, but they're still functioning. And there are a couple of the items that we had actually relocated from the yacht club into the trailers. When the board decided, yes, we're going to leave the yacht club open, the country club open for the winter, we went back and identified what we needed, and we've been pulling that out, putting it in. Large mixer, the 2 Rinnai water heaters will be reused. They have not been reused yet, but they weren't that old, so we pulled them out. We'll use them. Page 3 includes equipment we had on hand that was still in decent condition. When you have stainless steel sinks, the hand sinks, the shelving, any of that was in good shape, we set separately, and we'll reuse a lot of these things. Work tables, they're big, 72 by 30 work tables, and they're stainless steel, good shape. They're not rusted out or anything, so we just cleaned them up and we got them set aside. Okay, so that was the review of the existing equipment. Okay, if you recall, when we initially started down the path of the referendum and we talked about what we're going to do with the yacht club, one of the things we did was our intent was to repurpose as much of the kitchen equipment as we could. That was what we started out with. The board then, after the referendum, directed us to use an outside professional kitchen design company, which we engaged through our partner, through Harkins, which actually worked out through AWB. The recommendation was Savoy Brown, the kitchen consulting company out of Baltimore. We started to work with them, so they were added to the team. And if you recall, that was brought in the referendum material. All that information was brought out throughout the process. They redesigned the kitchen. I mean, they did exactly what we asked them to do, was a professional design of the kitchen. One of the and what I would have given you here on page 4 is the chronology of the events for the kitchen.
Oh, well,
We're on page.
good.
Would have,
Oh, no, I thought that was the agenda.
this is the chronology of what's occurred to get us to where we are today when it comes to the kitchen equipment. One of the things I wanted to show you, for most that haven't seen it, Terry, can grab your drink for a minute. Just want to lay it out. It's not going to mean a whole lot to everybody, but these were the actual final drawings that came from Savoy Brown. We had an initial set of drawings. They came in working with AWB. They came in, met with David, myself, Paul, our chef at the time, and really talked all the kitchens and the layouts, designed it, redesigned it, and ended up, this is what the final design.
Is this top or bottom floor?
This one is the first floor. First floor.
First floor.
Yep. Yeah, I had to look at the hallway. So this is the first floor. Now, you'll notice everything's numbered, and then when you do an equipment list like that, it's all listed on the plans like this. The reason I share this with you, and then there's 2 pages of it, second floor kitchen. Okay? This is what gets put together as part of the package when you send it out for bid. So they did the drawings, we hammered it out, went through some things, had some suggestions, recommendations. Rob Brown from Savoy Brown designed it, made some changes after some input, kept going back and forth with it. So what we did was, once we got the final design, everything looked good. AWB said, yeah, this works with the layout and the plan. The flow works in the kitchen. the employee area, everything, all the equipment, everything matches what we started. Then we put together the RFP. Look at page 5, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are the RFP that was initially put out to bid for the kitchen equipment. So what we did was we had the professional design, we had the layout, we had all the specs we felt we needed, we put it out to bid. The initial bid did not go so well. When we put it out, we ended 3 bidders immediately declined. And part of the reason when we followed back up is why they didn't want to bid on it. We had an exclusion on page 5 of the RFP that shows Ocean Pines reserves the right to select a portion of your proposal or accept the proposal as a whole. Basically, we said we could take pieces and parts. And some of the designers, when you're talking about this much kitchen equipment, didn't want to bid because they didn't want to be parceled one against the other, and they said, no, we don't want to bid. We went back because we only had one initial bidder that supplied the whole package. We said, look, what did we do wrong? That's when we found out what we did with the language. Actually, Jerry made several calls, and that was the reoccurring that we had missed by parsing it down. So what we did was go back to them, resend it, and said, look, or your best, they not only do they bid it, but they can also provide us what they think equivalent. So if it's a Continental kitchen unit, but they use Aero, they could supplement as long as it met the specs and the size, so it fit into the kitchen. So when we went back and did that, the bids then followed in. So that was our next step. So the additional bids came in. We ended up with 5 companies plus the original, so we had a total of 6. Rob Brown from Savoy Brown, they were leveling the bids. We just received the last ones in. They were leveling those bids. We were hoping for the final update on Friday with everything leveled from them. That didn't occur until actually Monday, or the 1st, I should say Friday, when that bid actually finalized and came in with kind of a leveling. But it's a preliminary leveling because there's still some calls that need to be made. But what they did, think of a 362-page spec sheet, which is how the bid works for a kitchen bid. Rob and his company went down and they went spec by spec, page by page, item by item, and went through each piece of equipment. Was it what we wanted? Was it an equivalent? If it was an equivalent, how did that fit? He found as we went through it, there was a couple of the bidders, one in particular that had bid some adjusted equipment. They substituted, which we said they could do, but when they did, it changed the size of the piece of equipment, which meant when you go back and look at our plan, it doesn't fit, it throws the other equipment off. So the substitution was acceptable, but only if it met the current spec. So that's part of working, and I'm glad the board said, let's go with a professional design company. We would not have had this level of look of this type of kitchen if we had not done that. So this is what he's been going through for us, leveling the bids, all the specs, putting all the information together. We're in the process now. We received a preliminary Friday. We had a conference call yesterday. Rob's going back to get he just wanted to update us on where we are. He's going back to do some final analysis of the bids to give us a kind of a final of here's who we think in what order and why. And then from there, it would be our intent, and again, a lot of it's going to depend on what the board decides, it would be our intent to go back out and ask for the final and best. So basically, what's your lowest price you can offer us. And that's sort of the process when you're going through something at this scale. So that's our next step, depending on what the board decides they want to move forward with. Again, this is with all new. The things that we will reuse would include some of the stainless steel shelves, some of the tabletops, the 72 by 30 stainless steel tabletops. Some of those will be rebid, but this bid will not be repurposing any of the mechanical, any of the ovens, the hoods, any of those type of things. Okay? All right, so we got through the RFP. Next page we get to is the dashboard. This is the dashboard everyone's been, a lot of talk about in the last few weeks. If you recall the project, the community center across the way, anybody that followed that, this was very, very similar to what they used, some minor changes, but this was it. Up in the top left gives the breakdown, the referendum amount, the main change order for the pool, the total amount, the different breakdowns of who pays for what and when. The item I, construction payments, these were the payments that have been requested when they've been paid out on the project so far. They should be in red on your sheets. The change orders to date, and again, everything that you're looking at is up to speed 100%. By getting past the end of the month, we've now closed out October, so all of our numbers on this are up to date. The bottom, total contract, base contract plus the 4 change orders. Okay, you go from the bottom, item 3, up to item 4, in-house, OPA allowance and cost. If you go down, you'll notice item furniture, kitchen hood and ansel system, move and reinstall equipment, storage, signs, miscellaneous, low voltage, kitchen equipment. Allowed is what we initially bid. Estimated actual are the numbers that we're actually, now that we have real numbers in some of them, we've plugged them in. The TBDs, okay, to be determined, there are 3 of them. If you'll notice the notes on those, it will be determined by the board which direction we head on these. And that's why it says board decision, see sheet 2. Okay, everybody follow that? All right, and then the next one down, item 5, is the summary where it pulls everything together. This is what will be continued to be updated, and we'll provide it to you. This is finalized. We'll put the additional TBD items once the board makes some decisions on which direction we should be going on this. Okay, page 12. It's circle page 12 on the bottom, but this also is from sheet 2 from the previous page. All right, we broke it down a little further for you. Furniture, we had a louder budget, $39,000. We're tightening up our numbers. It looks like, and what our goal right now is replacing the furniture, all new furniture on the first floor, to include tops, tabletops, chairs, and bar stools. Okay. Second floor, we're going to repurpose the existing tables and chairs we have. We'll recover the seat cushions and backs. We actually pulled the seat cushions off when we pulled all the equipment out and tore the facility down. We actually pulled all those out, so we have those separated. And what we're going to do is recushion those. We felt on the second floor, now we will need to pick up a small amount of large round tops, the 8 and 10 tops. We're short a few of them, and they're in the number. It's nothing huge. But we feel that we have enough furniture from the old facility between the 2 floors to have everything upstairs, everything covered, and then put all new downstairs. Next few years, we'll decide what to do, if we need to look at something different. But the furniture is pretty, I don't know if you recall the furniture at the yacht club. It's the heavy black. For those who don't remember, seats were green. Pulled those off when we recover, and we think we can do okay with that. The big round tops typically get a cover, a tablecloth of some sort. They're events, weddings, those type of things. So you're changing tablecloths, linens, those type of things. So we feel what we have should be enough for up there. Again, with the exception of about 4 or 5 round top tables that we'll put in there. Kitchen hoods and ansel system. Now, we were initially going to pull out our hood system and repurpose it at the new facility. Well, when the new kitchen design came in, the hoods, you designed the kitchen to include the hood system. So what we had to do is, based on the new system, is go back out and look at what the hood requirements would be for the new kitchen layout. We did actually take the layout and we provided it to multiple bidders for the hoods, because we didn't have any idea what the hoods would be when they're reconstructed or built for the new kitchen. So we did actually put those out for bid. We had the 3 bids. We're putting it on a sheet. We've analyzed them. We have it down. and we'll have that for you by the end of this week, early next week. But what that is the price there of $89.25. That's actually the hood, the installation, labor, staging, everything that could possibly go into that goes into it, plus a contingency, and it says that to the right. So we think we've got all that pretty well covered, and we had 3 bids. When we started to level them, everything made sense. It all lined up. Rob from Savoy Brown was extremely helpful looking at that to make sure that what was spec'd out with the hoods, the size, the shape, was appropriate and met the kitchen design. So we've been working with Rob as our kitchen expert every step of the way on this. The other thing is, which was interesting on those particular bids, there's a forced air type system. There's 2 types of hood systems. The one that we've actually are leaning towards, which is where this number comes in, is actually the better of the 2, and ended up being more economical than the other. So it was an interesting twist. Nice to have that fall our way. So if you read across there, allowed with the 14.5 is what we had budgeted, estimated actual if we go new, and then I ran it this way horizontally and vertically so you can read it across so you can see the delta between them. Next thing, reinstall equipment. We have our allowed budgeted amount, estimated actual, delta of 4,500. And again, our move out cost, we actually not only counted any of the rental equipment, and I don't know if everyone knows, but we have 3 52-foot trucks out there that Jack was instrumental. I had a friend of his in Baltimore that allowed us to, he just came down and let us borrow the trucks for storage. So we appreciate that. I'll make sure at our next board meeting, I give you all his information so we formally recognize him in a board meeting. But he said, look, I'd be happy to donate them. So that was a big help to us. We also decided that we were going to rent a small storage space, and this is the total cost here. So we could have everything laid out so we could look at, we needed room to be able to pull it, not only store it, but pull it out, do work on them. If we've got to redo it, work on the items we have to get to them. If we stacked everything, wall to ceiling in a small space, we wouldn't be able to pull it out as we needed it. Signs, miscellaneous wiring, low voltage. This is the one we don't have 100% firm answer on yet. This is a pretty good estimate, though. Here's what this includes. We've looked at phones, POS, security system, much like you come in, you hit the code, a camera security system, which we had in the old building, cable, running cable for TV, and the sound system. What we've elected to do with this particular line item,
Pardon, POS point of sale.
what's that? Oh, yeah, point of sale.
Cash
I'm sorry.
registers.
Mhm.
Thank you.
That's the micro system we use. So what we elected to do, since we were bidding out all new kitchen equipment anyway, we said let's go back and let's do some bids if we were replacing this all. Again, there's an item the board has to take a look at and say no. Use our current phone system. Use our current systems. We would be prepared to do that, but we thought, well, while we're here doing all the other bidding, let's go ahead and bid these out. We did get one phone system bid already. It was just over $15,000 to replace put a new phone system in. But that was only one, and that's why we're not ready to come down. We'll break this down further as we get those bids in, with all the different lines, and all the different systems. So we are still working that one, but we feel that number is more than adequate to cover it. The next one, the new kitchen equipment, this is the biggest one. You're looking at new equipment. We budget approximately $160. New equipment replacing everything, not repurposing anything, is $477. So the delta is $318. So between the hoods and the new kitchen equipment, the new design, that's what those two combined are where the big chunk of the money goes to. And again, it's a professionally designed kitchen with all new equipment. So what's going to happen here, and I'll take questions on this because I want to talk to you about kind of this next thing, but what will happen here, you notice top of this is board decision sheet. This is where you all have to coach me of which way you want to go with it. We can go back. You're going to decide new kitchen equipment or go back and try to retrofit the existing equipment. And we can certainly do it. The challenge is going to be, like I said, some of it's 25, 35 years old. I mean, we just didn't realize how old some of it was till you pulled out, the back legs are falling off. So it's really, I'm not trying to scare you. Anyone wants to go see it, we can walk around and look at all the equipment, but that's why we did it this way, to give you both choices.
Who in this deal is actually buying the kitchen equipment? Because the response to the RFP was kind of an all or nothing model as you presented it. Are the people, are they the ones purchasing the equipment, or are they the ones saying this is what you ought to buy and we can go negotiate better pricing, or who's actually buying it?
No, that's a good question. We'll buy it, but we'll buy it through Savoy Brown. He is our agent, and he's working directly with AWB and Harkins, but he's working directly with us. And since he's the equipment professional, we're using him as the expert to do the negotiation, to do the leveling, the whole 9 yards.
Is there any discount that Savoy Brown knows about that isn't included in here because of the size of this purchase that might be able to leverage some of this cost?
And that's what he has done to date for us. He actually, this didn't happen in a few weeks, and that's why I wanted to make sure you had the chronology of the timeline. This has been quite a while in the works. What was very, very interesting and I thought enlightening for us was working with Rob. He actually knows a lot of the manufacturers, knows the kitchen supply companies, things that came up as an example. A couple of the bid, one in particular, which appeared to be a low bid at first, when you look at it, was a drop ship. So basically, they take 3 or 4 truckloads of all these equipment, and they come and you're to unload it, and it's sitting in your parking lot. No install, no, none of those type of things. Whereas, number A or B, or letter A or B bidder would have said, no, we'll not only do we drop ship, we actually store it, and then we bring it, we unpackage it, and we install it. And that's why we've been, everything will go through Rob. He is very familiar with the whole process.
Hey, Bob?
Yes.
Yeah, hey, Tom, the split between the 3 low bidders was less than 5%. Okay, so
That was my next question.
The 3 low bidders was less than 5%. And we also talked, Rob thinks he can do better once a decision is made and being able to get something, but he said normally in this business, the markups they've got in this from the manufacturers run between 4 and 6%. So, there's money in there that he thinks he can get us, but he's not sure how much until he gets to the final thing. And the one thing that was interesting is when you're looking at this kind of number, the spread being less than 5% between the first and the third bidder was, very low. It wasn't like we had somebody that was way under or way over. It was a pretty tight grouping.
So I only have 2 more questions and then I'll back off, at least for now. First of all, I don't want people to get confused. This dashboard is including the pool.
Yes.
That's very confusing to people. This is
Right.
not part of the object
Why?
4.3. Why is it in here?
Why is it in there?
Why is it in there?
Well, we did it as a change order, if you recall. We made a change order with contract.
Right.
That was as a convenience.
What's
What
that?
it was as a convenience. I mean, we could easily set that aside on this as a side issue. It's a separate job. This is gonna be ugly stuff without any help. I mean,
The easy answer is all you got to do is take the 888 out. But when Harkins doing this, where you see them under level 1 of the draw payments, because it's one contract to them, that money is included in what they draw. But if you want a separate sheet, we can go back and give you a separate sheet that's just going to pull the 888 out of there. That's not a problem. We can give you a separate sheet.
Yeah,
We'll just go back through and adjust the payment schedule. That's not a big deal.
Ted, I would much rather do that, but if others agree.
It's not, give us a day or 2 to go through each of their, we just need to go back through each of their invoices and pay off the pool part of each of those invoices.
trying to back over is, we had an original budget amount for a kitchen. How different is this kitchen compared to what was originally thought of? How did we get from, I know we got the designer and that's fine.
Twice.
but-
$500,000.
Twice.
Yeah.
Twice the cost, yeah.
$500,000.
How much different is this blueprint here from what was originally thought of? And I don't know if you can answer that or
I
Jerry
can,
or
we
you
didn't.
can, okay.
When we went back, if you recall, the direction from the board was work with a professional kitchen design company. So before the blueprints got finalized, we engaged with Savoy Brown. And Savoy Brown worked with the architect, AWB, to come up with the actual drawing. We would have designed a kitchen around our existing equipment with the addition of some of the new. But with the new professional design, they completely designed a kitchen for us.
And then we found out later a lot of our equipment, 215,000 of it can't be reused?
Well, 215 is in poor condition, will not be repurposed. We did pull some out, approximately 40 of it, 47, that we are repurposing, that we would have used had we stuck with our original plan. So between the two, we had about $250,000 that we'd have repurposed, plus the 150 or 159 we had budgeted. So that's where our numbers originally came from.
I have a feeling we're gonna probably wanna, what's his name, Ron?
Rob,
Rob, we're probably
Yeah,
gonna wanna have a conversation with Rob, but I'll back off at this point.
Terry, did you have any questions? Jack, any questions?
Yeah, I agree with the analysis as far as the pool is concerned. I mean, just doing a rough arithmetic, it's now a $5.3 million project. And it originally was, the citizens were told that it's a $4.3 million project. And I understand, hurricanes are what hurricanes are, and, we all have to deal with emergencies. Yeah, but
Wait, I'm not sure that's correct.
Just wanna hang this
No, no, no,
number
no,
down.
no, 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 no,
That
no, no,
includes
no.
the pool, right?
That includes the pool.
That
The pool
includes
is
the
I
not in this.
understand that. That's what I'm saying. If you throw the pool, if you throw the numbers in there, it's a $5.3 million project.
Okay.
That's what I just said. If you throw all the numbers that are on this, and the membership voted for 4.3 million, and if I am saying that the pool is an item that was caused by an act of nature. The pool was destroyed by a hurricane, and evidently we didn't have adequate insurance on it. So, I don't know that it should be reflected in the total cost of this project, is what I'm saying, because if I'm a board member, I'm personally embarrassed. $1 million cost overrun?
Jack, I think that's what your comment was, and I think that's what Marty's is.
Yeah.
Did you have, I'm sorry.
No.
That's just the, okay. Is there anything else you want to add, Jack? If
No.
not, I think Marty is on the same topic. Marty?
I do. I have a couple questions. If you'll just let me. Okay. We got 2 complete kitchens, right? I wasn't involved in the beginning of this, wasn't here, but it's got 2 complete kitchens,
correct.
Up and down?
Yeah.
which was one of the major functioning problems with the old yacht club, was having 2 kitchens.
What's the question?
It's a question. I want to be sure we have 2
Yeah, we
complete
have 2,
kitchens.
yes.
Although the 5 top most successful restaurants in town have 1 kitchen. Ted and Bob, do either one of you see any problem with moving the 88887 out of this picture?
No, we can pull it out.
Not at all, Marty. It was just treated as a change order to Hawkins. I can have it out of there. If I can get copies of their AIA forms that they submitted for these previous bills, I'll have it back to Bob tomorrow night.
Thank you.
It's just a matter of pulling out the amount that they requisitioned out of those numbers in there on the monthly thing under number 1, and they just call the 2888 box. That's really simple.
Now, let me caveat, we'll need a couple more days with it. Yeah, you can pull the 888 out. My bigger concern or the payments, we'll have to go and reconcile them, that's all.
I don't wanna know how to make the watch, just what time it is.
Fair enough.
I didn't,
do it, Bob. It's fairly straightforward. I can do it.
I did not see reference anywhere near to dishwashing equipment. That's a pretty expensive place.
Lease. The intent was to lease out the dishwashing equipment. It's better, which makes it an operational expense. The decision, and again, it wasn't taken lightly, the way the equipment is either bought or leased, leasing seems to be the preferable way for whatever reason.
That cost needs to be shown someplace.
Well, that's an operational cost.
It
The
may or
lease
may
is-
not be an operational cost, but I want, what was told to the membership was new kitchen equipment, it is included in the 4.3.
But you're not buying the equipment. You're leasing it.
That's semantics.
No, listen, if you want to.
There is a business cost.
we can
There
buy
is
it.
an amount, a
it's
number
a
that you would
disclosure
plug into
issue.
your,
He's
you would
talking about
plug
a
in the
disclosure,
lease
and
cost.
I think we're better off over disclosing than under disclosing. I think that's basically
That's what I'm
we're
saying.
talking about. It's just a disclosure issue.
I mean-
And Ted, I seem to recall that when we had that special meeting, there was going to be a draw schedule or something that we would be all privy
It's
to.
right on there. Look at number one. Where
Yes.
it says construction payments today, where it says
Is
amount,
that the
design, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 is the October draw, the date of the requisition, and on the right-hand side, the date paid.
The rest of the contract.
What,
The draw schedule itself, that's broken down, is right in the contract.
oh, okay,
Marty,
which
just-
I
Marty,
understand.
There's a copy
Okay.
of that.
Marty
So
showed it to him.
The draw schedule's right in the contract. This is the actual monthly draw in reality based on percent complete.
No, I understand. These are the draws to date. I was looking at the overall draw schedule, and I haven't seen the contract yet. I'll get a hold of it, and I'll see what that is.
If I may.
Yeah, so it's, Jack, it's right near the end of the contract.
Got it,
It's actually
okay.
broken out. It's a whole page that breaks the whole thing out.
Okay.
It's a whole lot simpler to just look at this.
Oh, yeah,
what we're
it's-
doing.
yeah,
Because that draw schedule really is in the trash can now that we've added in the.
all the stuff, yeah.
Marty, did you have another question to ask?
I'm writing these down. We're moving along. No, I don't.
Oh, okay,
See
thank
how
you.
kind he is with the beard and all that stuff? Lighten him right up.
Can you explain, before you said something about that was the problem with the two kitchens?
It
What's
was always a functional problem of the operation at the yacht club was two kitchens. It used to be one, then we did two, somewhere back when I was still young. And it's always been a nightmare.
Because they weren't compatible, or
Yeah,
that they
they
did,
don't-
had to do
you
some
don't
in
need
one
two
and then
kitchens.
some?
You really don't need two kitchens. We used to run the yacht club with one kitchen and a dump waiter.
What was
That's how
his
it
name?
worked fine. That's what's a little bit surprising when you say the equipment's 35 years old. That second court kitchen's not 20 years old.
I said some of the equipment was 35.
Bill, did you have another question? Dan?
It's interesting, if you go back to the assumption on the dashboard, which is to combine the change order and the base referendum price, which ends up at $5,203,184,000.
Right.
Upper left-hand corner. And you go down to item 5, the summary. Forget the summary, just take the 5,2,189 and subtract 4,314,297, which was the approved referendum amount. You end up with, unless my math is wrong, 898,887. So we're only 10 grand outside of the picture if you take the pool out.
With,
And that's why I'm just asking, because I don't know that I understand the numbers
No,
properly.
no, no, no,
well,
that's right,
legit.
but we have not added, if we have not made the decision, the board hasn't made the decision.
On the kitchen. This
On the
excludes the kitchen delta.
Correct.
All right.
3 TBDs.
Three
here.
TBDs.
Yeah, got it. No,
Those three.
That's why, so you're absolutely
All right.
right, but what,
Okay.
that's the decision point the board's gonna have to make.
All right, let me go to the next question then, and this is just for my information. The parameters for the design of the kitchens you described in your document here. And it included a chef who is no longer with us. It included a food and beverage manager who is still with us, and includes a professional designer as well as the architect.
Yes.
Now, the architect put together the $189,000 version,
147, right?
147, whatever the number was that they included in their original contract for a kitchen design.
150.
And I'm going back to Tom's question from a slightly different direction. I don't really understand the delta for this reason, and that's that, to me, the kitchen design, you don't design a kitchen to do everything. The kitchen designer had to sit down with some form of concept and say, okay, this is what here's your model. This is what you're actually planning on doing with this kitchen. And I, for one, would kind of like to hear about what that model is before I have to make a decision and a vote on whether to spend, to invest.
Blow's
this
a
kind of
better
money.
word.
No, think about it, Marty. I mean, it really does make a difference, you know, if in fact we're looking at an operation who's conceptually going to be downstairs, relatively short order, you know, light meals.
Ought to be a warming kitchen.
Okay, well, could be, could not
Dumb
be,
waiter and a
but
warming kitchen.
could be. You know, the other one, the upstairs kitchen, I would see as the catering kitchen, which is going to be preparing mass quantities of food, different design, different equipment, different approach to life. I'd like to know just how much of that really affected the design, and I don't know if that's an answerable question, but I'd like you all to kind of take a stab at it. Just fill me in on where you're...
It's a good question. It is somewhat difficult because not all of the people that had the input are at the table.
No, I know that.
Okay.
I'm aware of that.
With that being said, second floor is considered catering, banquets, events.
Mhm.
It's the primary, we had to look at primary functions. First floor, a la carte dining. The other thing that we looked at was part of the challenges we've had in the past, operating two kitchens, part of the challenge of getting food out timely, cold food, hot food. The downstairs kitchen design was for cheesesteak subs. If you were in there as a postage stamp size. I mean, it's not big. It's smaller than this room.
No,
All
I
the
know.
food they
I
put out.
was on board when that was designed
Okay.
and built.
So,
I know what's
so when you're
required.
comparing them and you say, well, that was our problem before. No, part of our problem with quality, consistent delivering is the inadequacy of the kitchens.
That's why I
Now,
asked the question.
second floor is designed for big functions, primarily events, banquets, those type of things. It can be designed for, it will also use it, events like Mother's Day, Easter, Thanksgiving. All of those type of events would be considered second floor. The events, the a la carte dining, the regular dining would be first floor. If you recall, when we talked about the design of the facility itself, come the winter months, we'll be able to shut down one floor entirely and operate without any loss of function in either kitchen.
I remember that discussion.
So that was part of the design. We have two fully functional that can operate independently to serve different needs.
Okay, let me ask
Well,
something. Sorry,
wait,
Jim.
one more before I go away, and then I'll shut up. Okay? And that's just this. How far are we along, or how far are we away from bringing the person who is going to be our new head chef on board?
We are not, we don't have a lead on the right person yet, if that's your question.
No, my question was how far away are we?
90 days,
So that
maybe
person,
longer.
that person potentially could have some input and impact on this plan? No? Okay, Ted understands why I'm asking the question.
Lead times are about 8 weeks minimum, and we need at least 6 weeks to get everything put in and operational. So we really, I don't think that person's available. Although, Bob, I think maybe the thing to do is get Rob to come down and walk through the kitchens with the guys and those and see, you know, let him ask the questions exactly to him. He's the designer, he's the expert. He can certainly probably answer most of those questions satisfactorily.
Now, here's what I'm going to ask to be done. The only person on the list that isn't still available, and he may still be available, is Paul. I mean, you're still here, David is still here, the architect is still here, the designer is still here, who is Rob. I think we put together a session to answer the questions that both Dan and myself are both asking. How do we get from here to here? And I think we have that, maybe you have to join by conference call or however we do that. That's what I'm going to propose that we do, because we need the answers of how we got from A to B, at least in my opinion, Chair. Anyway, you got a couple of hands up.
And if there's any else.
And I have some questions too, so Marty, go ahead.
Now you got me, I was ready to ask a question and you stumped me, go ahead.
Old age.
Oh, I-
Gotcha.
Timing. At what point does indecision by the board on this $500,000 thing start slowing down the project?
That's a good question.
Good question.
Marty, I think here, you got two things here. One, as you know, with equipment manufacturers, concrete suppliers, everything else, the first of the year brings increases. We really need to be able to, the first week or so of December, make a decision what we're going to do. Okay, we need to be able to place an order that first week of December for manufacturing purposes and also to lock in pricing before the first of the year. So basically, we've got, probably 4 weeks here to make a decision. So I think there's enough time to do what Tom has said about getting the meeting together with the people and then be able to make a reasonable decision to go forward here. But really, that in talking to Rob in timing, that first week of December is kind of the drop dead to kind of lock in pricing and also not affect having equipment on site no later than March 1 to start to put the stuff inside.
What's the effect on any building permits?
None, because we're going in with the design that you got there,
Okay.
and going in with that design, and that's how we're going to approach it with Rob is meeting with the county, I think Thursday, Bob?
Correct.
He's meeting with the county Thursday with the health department to walk that through. So we're going to go forward with this being our design. If we change it later, we'll submit a change into the county. But we're going to go forward with what he's got on the plans there for now, and then depending on board action, make any changes, redesign, whatever has to be done at that point.
Okay, the other side of that, Ted, that you're stuck with is that there are certain elements of these kitchens that are integral to the building, and certain elements that can be walked through the door and bolted down to the floor and plugged in. And by that, examples, exhaust hoods, okay, have to be built into the building. Drains have to be built into the building. Wiring diagrams and wiring systems have to be set up long before the walls are closed and the equipment starts rolling through the door. And I would assume that some of these cold boxes and freezers are actually part of the structure, as opposed to being something that rolls in.
Some of them have to go in before the floors are laid because you don't want them on the floors, and the floors are actually the tile or whatever we're putting down actually goes up to them, but not underneath them. But again, as long as we can make a decision, towards at the end of the month, we'll be okay.
Okay, that's where I was going.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's where I was
I
going.
have a few questions here. I'm sorry, Bill, go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right, I have not seen these designs other than just 10 minutes ago as we all looked at them. Are both kitchens identical?
No.
So one upstairs is larger or one downstairs is larger?
Upstairs, it's designed, they're similar in size, different designs.
To handle the certain needs? Is that, like one's to do more catering?
Correct, and downstairs,
So, okay.
well, when you look at them, there's an employee break room, there's the receiving area, those type things on the first floor that aren't obviously on the second.
No, I'm talking about the equipment. I'm talking about, do we have 2 sets of fryers or 2 sets of ovens of each level?
We do, but they're a little different on each.
Okay.
They are different.
All right, Marty brought up a question that the dishwasher was leased, or it's going to be leased. Is there anything else that's going to be leased?
Dishwasher was the only thing.
That was the
we
only thing,
talked about.
okay. I have done a lot of work with new construction on homes, and I know the most expensive part of the house is always the kitchen. So I get this. I get why it's expensive. My question is this: is there anything that we could phase in and still have an effective use of a kitchen? In other words, put part in our budget now, and part in this budget, and part of it later. It's just a question. I don't even expect an answer now. I'm just trying to say, is there some way we could make this more palatable?
It's gonna cost what it's gonna cost.
Yeah, I agree. I get it, but do we need 2 of this? Could we get by with 1 for this year and then add another one at a later date? Whatever.
Well,
It's just a thought.
okay, I know you don't want a lot of discussion, but remember what Ted said, okay, and that's the first of the year. Manufacturers normally start jacking their prices up, so what we don't add or don't put in this year, we're gonna pay more for.
It's
next
always
year.
going to be more expensive. It's
Yeah.
always going to be expensive the longer you wait. I get that, but I'm just trying to figure out, is there some way we can make this easier to deal with? That's all. Bill, you had a question.
My question, Ted, this is Bill Cordwell. What's the team saying about this? Did they have any, concerns about this, or?
Well, yeah, obviously we don't want to be above budget, but I don't know, Bill. I mean, the bottom line is, I think when you look at the old equipment that came out of there, in particular things like freezers and some of the gas connections to the existing equipment are really, really bad and are going to have to be fixed. I mean, for instance, the freezers you can't reuse because they're falling apart. But for instance, even some of the gas equipment there, you're going to have to repipe some of the stuff. So here's the deal. We went to look and made sure that the guy did his homework and provided us these 350 pages and the breakdown. And I particularly beat him up pretty good yesterday on, is this in it? Is that in it? Is this included? Because some of them had, for instance, some of them need cranes to be able to put things in, and some of them we wanted to make sure they had the small gas. I know this doesn't sound like much, but the flexible hoses for the gas hookups were included, because that can run you $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000. So we just made sure he did his due diligence. I don't know enough about kitchens to be able to answer that part. I do know that the equipment that came out, and I talked to Butch quite a bit, and those of you that know him, he looked at it very carefully, and that, really, quite frankly, most of it's junk. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not happy with it being that high, but, and I think we can do a little better on price, but I'm also not sure how much we'd be saving if we try to retrofit this other stuff in gym and in there.
Right. And I was over the.
But that's the best I can give you.
I was over the country club today when they were unloading some of the things that came out of there, and I'd have taken that stuff right to the dump. But now it's going to be in the country club.
That's what it looked like, Bill. By the time you got done and you started looking at that stuff, I mean, when you pulled it out, it's a good thing. The bad thing is we didn't know ahead of time. If I were to say doing it again, we'd have priced it all new and put that right in the referendum. It was actually worse coming out than I thought. Some of the legs on some of the stuff actually broke off when they pulled it out from the wall. So, that's where it's at.
Okay, if I remember correctly, because I wasn't on the board then, the original bid as to what the kitchen equipment was going to be was done prior to us having this design done by the professional kitchen people. Am I correct?
Correct.
So we really didn't have a way to know the numbers then. Okay, thank you, Marty.
We're down to the board having 3 to 4 weeks to take the hit on this. Ted, you and I talked a month ago and pretty much knew there was going to be at least $250,000 whack. That's a little bit more. And Sharon said earlier she's never seen this plan before, neither have I. For the record, the date on that set of plans is July 22. So these have been around for 3 months, and we're seeing them today, and we have to make a decision. We should have had this a month ago when everybody, including my sister, knew we were going to be over budget on the.
Well, we've got it now, so let's move forward with it.
Yeah,
I'm not arguing with it.
It's wonderful.
Let's move forward.
All right, so we're all in agreement. that
Bill,
we
did
will-
you have another question? Anybody else in this
Before we
group?
go around, so we're all in agreement there will be a session, Rob will be brought in, the team, as
Absolutely.
best we can.
Sure.
We'll be on the call, and we will go through this to figure out how we got from A to B.
I would appreciate it if my fellow board members would read the referendum material before the next meeting. Just for fun. I mean, read it. It's very simple. It says all costs for the kitchen are included.
Okay, anybody in the audience? Okay, let's start with Joe.
Yeah, getting back to Jack's initial point about the pool project and the yacht club project being combined, that's a non-starter. The people in this association are so stupid, they don't realize that they're two different, entirely separate projects, same one. 4.3 is the 4.3 for the building. The pool was a separate project. We only threw it in with the same contractor because it was convenient to do so with the same contractor. I'm trying to understand, the original contract, Bob, had 150,000 for kitchen equipment. Is more or less an allowance.
159.4, yes.
159. Okay.
Yes.
Now the new kitchen and goods, as I understand it, is 487.
450.
470.
455, 730. That.
Well, you got the,
No.
now you got the
Kitchen
hood
alone is 477.
Okay.
487.
506.
Now, the net add then would be, give or take, $337,000. Am I correct? in that?
That's good, yes.
Okay. So, for an additional $337,000, what we're getting is two brand new kitchens.
Correct.
Now, I know boards and bureaucracies are wont to debate and make a lot of noise, but if I were king of Ocean Pines, I'd just approve it right now, because you're going to talk about it till doomsday. About 4 more hours of talking about it. Why put up a brand new building like that's going to last for 40 years at least and not do right with the kitchen? It's a restaurant.
No,
The
it's
most
not.
important function of a restaurant is cooking food.
It's an amenity.
Oh, please.
Now, you can say what you want. Now, I say, do it right away. Add the 337, get it done so there's no delay. Now, I'm making an assumption that Mr. Maroney and the other people in the group have looked at these numbers, and maybe we can get them down a little bit more with some careful looking. But for this board to debate this issue endlessly, to me, seems
It's not.
a little meaningless. But anyway,
Bill?
um,
I'm sorry, I thought you were done.
almost. The, what's this leasing of the dishwashing equipment? What's the relative cost?
Yeah, I don't have the cost, but I did send a text to make sure I was saying it correctly. Downstairs lease, upstairs, we're going to reuse our current one.
Yeah, because that's not that old.
So that's what I
Is that
checked.
currently being leased?
Not the current one we own.
Oh.
So what I'm saying is, I was right when I said lease, but we're leasing, the intent downstairs is to lease. We already own one that's in decent shape. That's supposed to be put upstairs.
How old's the one that's in decent shape?
I don't know. I mean, I can
I'm saying if no.
I can find out. I just
All
don't
I'm
know.
saying
I'm
as
gonna
an
say 12
association
years.
member, I hope you do it right.
10 or 12 years.
I think Ted's gone.
I mentioned something about 6 weeks, Ted or somebody, 6 weeks fully open and operational. What was that in reference to, Ted?
Ted's gone.
He's gone off the speaker.
He sent me a text that he hadn't gone.
We got a wedding scheduled for the second week in May.
Mhm.
How big is that wedding? Big wedding?
I don't know the size off the top.
What's
To the bride, it's a big wedding.
It's 18 people. It's a big deal.
father of
To the father of the bride. There you go.
To me, it's huge. Trust me.
The mother will shoot the father of the
What's
bride.
the question, Joe? I'm sorry, I can't
What
hear
is the
you.
current opening date, finish date, all punched out, approved by the county, ready to open shop? Do we have a date on that yet?
We don't have a final date. We're wrestling with mid-April.
Mid-April.
Yeah, part of why the kitchen equipment early March is so we can get it in, get the punch list. I mean, we're timing, everything's being laid out very specifically. It looks like early to mid-April is what the target's
Okay.
going to
I
be.
think we're playing with fire with this one.
We-
Anyway, that's it.
Bill?
Getting back to the dishwasher, what is the cost effectiveness over a 5-year period, 10-year period of renting versus buying?
David's done that. I can look into it. He felt it was better, and his past experience leasing dishwashers because the amount of water, detergent, everything goes into it.
Yeah, it's like leasing a copier as opposed to trying to buy one. The supplies usually are included with the lease.
Yes.
And it makes a huge difference in cost.
Can you upgrade, downgrade, and stuff like that as the lease, runs out?
Probably.
Are they responsible for the maintenance?
Yeah.
Yes, under a
Yeah,
lease they are.
it's just like a copier.
So basically what we're looking at about a $300,000 higher number than we expected for the kitchen. Am I looking at that number? 318.
340.
340 would be a rough.
I have 318 with the delta. Isn't that the delta? That's the higher number for,
No,
The actual-
730.
but we already had an allowance
Well,
in there of
Well, wait a
159.
minute, I'll answer the question. Kitchen equipment 318, but you have to add the hood system.
Oh, and the hood. Okay,
That's
gotcha.
what
I
the
just want to have
difference-
the two numbers. Okay.
Yeah, they're the two biggies.
Okay, that's what I need
That
to
all
understand.
includes installation costs?
Yes.
The hood, yes.
No, I mean, the whole kitchen,
Everything,
the whole
everything, yeah, we did installation. What Ted was referring to were the hookups. You have to have a licensed plumber, electrician to do all, those companies won't hook them up for you, so you have to have some of those local codes, so we figured all that in as well.
Chip, I think you were next. I'm sorry, I did my backspin to you, but I
That's
knew you
quite
were
all
there.
right. That's quite all right. The paperwork that you have here with this information, is it possible to get a copy of that? When?
By tomorrow, I can copy the packet.
Okay, thank you.
We'll make it vote.
Thank you.
Okay. I know Tom has one, yes.
Quick question, the 337 number would not include any of the design fees to Savoy Brown?
What's the
It's all
330?
in.
Oh,
it
okay.
It's all in, done.
That includes the design?
Everything's in.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Hold on, somebody's
Good
gotta help me.
question.
You
I'm
gotta
not
help me.
getting
Where is
337.
this 337? I'm paying that to 384. Where's the 337 come from that everybody keeps talking about?
487 less 150.
I got $66,000 delta on the hood and 318 for the kitchen equipment.
You put about 385.9.
That adds up to 384 and change.
That's what I was trying to understand. The numbers are going all over. I want to know,
That's why we
Yeah.
shouldn't be discussing this until we've had it in our possession.
I'm just trying to make sure we understand it, that's all.
Right.
So that's the number, all right.
What'd you say the number was?
385.
385?
Joe, it's 318, 104.80 plus 66, 425.90.
yeah, 385 rounded up is.
What you're quoting,
I
just,
don't know, see, I don't have those numbers.
well, here, just so you know, you're quoting the delta,
That's the delta.
not the actual.
That's right.
I want to make sure everybody's clear on
Yeah,
this.
it's about $560,000.
But we had budgeted some numbers, so,
That's why I'm working on
so
it.
Joe, the way you were articulating it is correct. There's some difference, and that's why I tried to do a delta line.
Oh,
There's
you
some
mean
difference.
the number you gave out of 477 for the kitchen is a delta? A difference?
No, it's not. What I'm saying is you were saying it correct. Don't let the other numbers confuse you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, 318 is the difference for the kitchen alone.
477 for the kitchen.
159 is what we budgeted, there's 318. We budget, you were close,
I don't know where the other 50 came from.
the hood.
The hood.
Oh, okay.
You gotta add them together.
There was two numbers, Joe, I missed it myself, Joe, so that's why I want, it's confusing.
So
Okay.
380 total.
A 385 is over and above what was budgeted.
Gotcha.
Okay.
One last thing for the Gantt chart. When might we get a
Board meeting.
board meeting?
We'll have an updated Gantt chart with all the information.
Anybody else with a question? Great, thank you.
All right, can I go to the next one?
Yes, you certainly may.
Okay.
When you talk to Ted, thank him, please.
No, I will. Behind you, these are to get up. Okay, if you recall, and just so you know, before the board leaves, we're getting a picture with each of you next to this, so you can. No one's going to say I didn't show you.
I know. I want to know where the rock is. Where's the rock?
Split rock.
It's on the other board. That's where we're way past that. These are interior. Okay, interior. Everybody got me? Interior. We had our AWB Kevin Olin put together the materials, his recommendations. I'm going to start over here. First thing I want to show you all is the materials, the materials being used for the trim in the building. Casement around the doors, around the windows. Baseboard, nice wide, so it's big, heavy with the extra, shoe mold.
3/4 round, yeah.
So it's
Quarter round.
everything we have.
Half round.
Heavy chair.
Heavy chair, the double, and the crown.
Nice crown.
Okay, so this is what is the actual. Now, what you notice we put no color on it. We were going to stain it or put some clear on it, but we said no because no decisions made. So this is the material, and it'll be stained.
It will be stained and not
Yeah.
painted,
Stained.
so it's got to be clear. Okay.
Okay? So that's the material. We've actually, and if you remember when we did, this is nice. If anybody does
really nice.
anything, this is good. We're doing quality with this project.
And that's in the price.
Yep, that's all far.
Okay.
We did something right.
Okay.
Okay, starting from the left, we have color selections, some things to look at. First thing I'll draw your attention to is the wood color. You said the wood's the floor. Okay, the primary color for the floor. This separate piece, you notice it looks a little different. We priced out oak, and it's an actual solid oak floor. It's not partitions, it's hardwood. One of the other, during some of our talks, one of the things that came up, bamboo is another option. So we got some bamboo samples. The challenge with bamboo is you can't really stain it. This is clear. This is actually, they steam it, it gets the dark color, and then they seal it. That's apparently how bamboo's done. But it came up that, hey, maybe we ought to consider this, so we went and got samples. There's pros and cons to both. So the floor coloring kind of starts the process for us. David, myself, and the architect all believe the darker floor coloring is more appropriate. If for nothing else, the scuff marks on your shoes, anything light color, is going to show scuff marks all the time. The darker is not going to show, you're not going to get that black mark on things. So the lighter ones it's just going to be a lot more maintenance and upkeep for us. The difference is, the other difference that with the bamboo is the way it's laid. You can only finish it. It's not the hardwood here. You have the opportunity. It's a deeper and it has less of a groove or less of a tongue and groove. So you have the ability when you start sanding this, you start grinding down on that. You have fewer sanding opportunities for this product.
That is not pre-finished.
No.
That is laid and then stained and sealed.
Or
so
stained
they
before
can
it's laid. Yeah.
finish it in the later day.
Yeah.
Probably pre-stained, probably pre-stained, isn't it?
Yeah, it may be. That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure if it's pre or, but it will be stained the way we want. So they may stain it. We order it that way and it comes, but it's hardwood, and that's what Marty's looking at on the end. You have more ability to go back and sand.
It'll outlive you.
Yeah. That's really what it is. So just
Oak's
something
a better
to think
product.
about.
Oak's always a better product.
There's a couple people, one person in particular on the implementation team that really likes this. So I'm just putting it out there.
Were they from Southeast Asia?
Easy.
Nice.
Okay. All right, now, did color sample?
Okay, sensitivity training is next.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Jack.
Jack.
I think that is a legitimate question that has nothing to do with sensitivity.
Okay, Jack,
Bamboo
let's
is
move it
prevalent
right along.
to
Come on,
Southeast
Bob.
Asia.
Okay, now with the lights, go from here, skip this for a minute. These were the colors that the architect came up with when he was designing it. You know, there's some more blues and light colors into it. Carpet colors, something I want to make sure we have full. One thing she recommended, and these are all within the budget. Okay, so I'm not showing you anything out of budget. Offices and bridal suite. Offices on my right, bridal suites on the left.
And your right or our right?
My right, sorry.
That's offices.
Office, and the little swirly is the bridal suite. They came up with the design, a little different design for it just to make it, kind of special. So these are the full samples because sometimes it's hard to see. This particular one, he's got 3 color choices for the carpet, and that's what he's put up there for us. So again, I don't know how you all want to do this. Take anybody here.
All of this within budget.
Yes, everything.
All of this is
Everything.
all in.
All in.
The public use of the flooring is all going to be a hard surface. So we don't have carpet except for in the bridal suites and the offices.
Offices?
So there's no carpet issue to deal with
No.
you. Okay.
On the first floor, the sample here is entire first floor. For the public, when you come in, you're on tile.
And how big are they?
Second, 12 by 12 or 20 by 20.
Well, where's the hardwood, Bob? I'm sorry. you lost-
Second floor, everything on second floor, you go hardwood.
Okay.
Okay? The Silstone product, okay, and these are the same. They had, Kevin really liked with the blues and the tan, it pulls every color that we're working with inside and out. These would be all the bar countertops, the bar tops. The other one he had put was a brown one.
That is material is again?
A
Silestone?
Silstone. It doesn't stain, it's a man-made product, and Marty, you might be able to talk to
Doesn't
it.
burn, I mean, it won't mark.
Pretty much indestructible material.
My wife can destroy it.
The
Pretty much, that's it.
The tile on the lower level, I was feeling it, and there's some like groovies and stuff in the middle one.
Mhm.
Is that going to be a nightmare for cleaning, number one? And number two, you got to have something that's not slippery.
That's why
Women
you have
on
the
heels on tile could be very slippery.
That's why
Or
all
wet
of them
shoes.
have the heavy grooves for that exact purpose. It's not slippery.
Okay.
That's why this tile in particular is selected.
How do you want us to pick them? No, not us. How do you want this chosen?
Look, I have no idea, but I'm not, interior you are going to do. I have my idea, but
When do you need it chosen?
next month, within the next month.
Marty, that was a real good question, and you didn't ask the one I expect you to ask.
What was that?
Those are samples. When are you going to show us where they're going?
You just told me.
No. I want to see every interior designer, architect that I have ever seen in the last 20 years is going to show you an interior drawing that says, in color, here's where it goes. And the really good ones today are going to do it on a videographic thing and actually fly you through the rooms so you can see what they look like. I'm not going to pick anything up there until I know where it's going and how it's going there.
The really smart builder will tell you what I'm about to tell you.
Which
I'm
is?
colorblind.
Okay. That's a smart builder, but we're going to get stuck with this.
I think we ought to do what we did with the wood.
Oh, okay.
The chairs upstairs, they're obviously going to have some material to them. We don't have samples of that.
No, I thought the building was more important. We can change the materials on the chairs to wherever we want to.
Well, I think it's going to affect the color scheme. I mean, do you do with the blues on the left, or you do with more of the beiges and grays on the middle one? I mean, I think you need to know those colors. I'm not be wrong.
Again, how many people, there's 20 of us in the room, there's going to be 20 opinions, and that's why I'm not. Yeah, this one's going to be interesting
You can
because
make the chairs whatever
Whatever.
you want.
this is long term. A chair you can change easily.
Yeah.
I would go here first, but if you want to go the other way, I don't. Again, after the whole split face, not split face, color roof, not color, I'm not in it. Here's your choices. If you don't like them, tell us. We'll go after some others. The challenge you're going to have with 8,447 people that are members. I mean,
Here's my question. David has to live with this, and he has to be the person who makes this place work. Does David and the business plan for the yacht club fit all three of these designs? So what do we decide by? What is it we are supposed to make a decision based on? Because there's 7 of us sitting here, and I can assure you, I'm already mentally moving one blocks to another, and we would be here for weeks.
and I hate to tell you, Tom, I think that's what's going to happen.
Great.
You say there's no business plan that changes the color of
That's
a wall.
why they're on with growth, right?
Well, they're all similar. It's very difficult to say one thing bounces out over the
And you really can't make the wrong decision.
You can't.
You can't.
These are quality
just
products.
preferences. They're really just based on
The only
preference.
difference looks like the wood floors.
No,
There's
the
some blue
tile's
and all
all
that.
close, and the reason the tile's close is because it kind of ties with everything. The carpet's close. One's a little lighter, one's a little darker. The countertops are a big difference.
Yeah, well, that was.
See the dark
that's
versus
an easy,
the lighter one?
that's an easy choice.
Big,
So,
well, okay, easy for you. I mean,
And the wall
it's
color.
easy for me, Dan, to be honest with you, but I'm not getting in this one.
Let me go back to Dan's question. Can we get that kind of visual
I,
of what this
I
would
can
look like?
certainly talk to AWB. I still think you have the same issue. You're going to have 20 people in the room, you're going to have 20 opinions.
Yeah, but I want to see it on the walls, not on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, what color is gonna go on the walls, and what, you've got 5 different colors on the one on the left.
you gotta-
Where are they going?
You gotta show us where they're going and how it's gonna come together.
Whatever you,
Pick the you want the interior designer's preference. This is what I want to do. Okay? You don't need 3 or 4 or 5 different takes on it. This is what I want to do. Show me. And here's the materials that make that happen.
Who is that person?
Who is that
$5
person?
million
Kevin Owen, AWB, he's the architect that's
Yeah.
he's the one that's been putting it together
He's the
for you.
guy. So Kevin is the interior decorator.
Look, if
For
you
all
want to
intents and
hire a
purposes,
professional
Kevin,
interior
I got
decorator,
it.
tell me.
No.
We spent enough
Just like
already.
they do on
I got it. I will
HGTV.
see if he has it. Just tell me what you want.
One house, what one room would look like, and then
And I
the
proxy
other.
my vote to Sharon.
Okay, I've got rid of one.
Who's your
All right.
colorblind?
This is great. Okay, you're out of it. Okay.
I'm out.
You're out. All right. That's good. All right.
And you cannot move one thing from one box
I
or
can
to
do
another.
anything
You
you
can
want.
do anything you want.
They're on
All
board,
right.
though. We can move them.
You need to see what Kevin.
I already know, but none of us want to take a bite of that apple.
Well,
You all decide.
Excuse me, with all due respect, he's drawn a paycheck to take a bite out of that apple, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that's,
So I want to see what the apple looks like that he just took a bite out of. Thank you very much.
Is that it? Are you
I don't believe you're messing up all
I
the
am done.
Are you done?
All right, but the comment from the food and beverage manager is, for maintenance, which is very important, the darker floor is better because it will not show the scuff marks upstairs.
Yeah.
Downstairs, the tile will be, so there's some texture to it, so it won't be slippery.
All 3 of them are textured.
correct. They're all the
You
same.
Yeah, the one in the
Some are
middle
more
is
than the
more
other.
so than others.
They're all
That's,
3 of them have texture.
that would be a major concern of people with heels and slipping.
Marty's already given Sharon this process.
Thank you, Marty.
Absolutely.
Hour.
We're good on this. All right, let's get that information.
One thing I'm pretty
You're
sure
done?
everybody
All right.
agrees on is her.
Thank you very much. Budget guidance, Bill, I know you've got something
Not
to
really,
hand out.
that's so that's what I doing it.
This is being handed out for everybody's review. Take it home, read it. It'll be engaged at the next board meeting.
Okay, let me go over the changes.
Yep.
Changes from what you had last. Okay, first paragraph, capital budget, those lines were just put together. Okay, instead of having separate paragraphs, those lines were just put together. Okay, you got what you need?
Go ahead.
Okay. Under road resurfacing, added line item, let's see here. So I get the- Include a line item budgeting for roads resurfacing in accordance with the road project study. So in the new one, it's just the very last line under road resurfacing was added. Okay. Under the IRS matter, take out, just add.
Although, I sent that to everybody.
Okay, so everybody has that. Okay.
We have that.
All right. Next, under operating budget, under the second paragraph there. And Dan, this is what.
Yep.
So, I don't know if you get to read that, but let's see the operational. Okay, if in fact the change is necessary, documentation needs to be submitted and clearly justified with revenue cost streams as conservative as possible. Okay, that was just the line that was added. Next, under realistic amenity budgets, would be the last line there. Consideration should be given to extending some use of amenities or gift cards to all residents for use at the amenities through a marketing program with no added cost to the membership. And finally, just delete from the old one, just deleted major projects, the entire paragraph.
Thank you, Bill.
That's it.
Anything else?
I'm still gonna make the comment when we talk about on page 1 of this, we're still saying $26 annual assessment increase. It's not, it's $130 is what we're talking about. I mean, it's 26 is like a low ball.
Represents first year following 5 consecutive years, $26 annual increase.
I think we've got it right now on the IRS.
And the IRS case says 130.
Well, this is just,
Let's be consistent. I mean, there's no $26. $26 was years ago.
Well, this says following the 5 consecutive years of $26
You
annual
could say,
assessment.
you could say 26
Which
times
total
1 is
is-
26. I mean,
Which
why
Which
not?
totals under the
total?
IRS.
$130. If this is a low ball number.
Okay, anything else, questions, anybody else? Okay, we're gonna be talking about this at the next meeting then, thank you.
Did everybody get my input that I sent?
Yes.
I know it's gonna fall on deaf ears, but I thought.
Hold on, Deputy, there's something in there, Eddie, right from you.
Oh, you read it.
Okay.
Read it before you start throwing
Okay,
rocks at it.
Tom, you have something in sign regulations.
Yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know that actually Sharon and I both met with the art committee and talked through what they had put together. We told them we made it through the first reading, voted for that. Sharon and I both are going to kind of take on an assignment of helping work with and get with, Jim Trummel and that crew and go through that document. Their intent was to simply clean up some conflicts. Now that we've gotten this document put in front of us, we see changes that might need to be made to make it more modern. So we're not referencing documentation of wood signs from the 1960s. So we're going to be working with that, just bring everybody up to speed.
yeah, can you just check paragraph E for your discussion with Bill?
On the sign regulations?
Yeah.
Sure.
What was
Question.
that?
It's under general criteria, color.
The colors,
Just
yeah.
check that.
That's on my list.
And materials. I know it is.
Yeah.
You have a list on this.
Yeah.
So,
Is that, okay, Trumbull's reviewed it, but I mean, is that the same actual, we had this motion a year ago from Dave Stevens. Is it the same thing? I couldn't find it from a year ago other than the motion.
Well, Dave brought it came forward in July, but since for its first look at it, and then we got a new board,
But
so
it
we
is
started.
the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Okay,
Well, all we're saying is that now that you put this in front of us, the reality is we see issues in here that ought to be addressed, because there's language from, again, back when most of Ocean Pines was dirt roads.
So I guess if you have any comments on the sign, send them to
Yeah,
Tom.
send them to me.
Okay.
save me a letter. Enforce the rule. We don't enforce it now, that's why rewriting it seems like a waste of time.
Jack, you have a motion?
Sign.
You want to, questions on the sign?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, yes, Joe, go ahead.
On page 2, I downloaded this from the website. I think Dan had the same copy. Page 2, I approval. Shall was changed to must, and then he requested by through. I think we need to eliminate the word through. And in the last sentence in that same I, more than one sign may have addressed in a 1A. A needs to be removed.
Joe, there's gonna be major changes done to this.
Pardon?
There's gonna be major changes done to this. This is not gonna
Major
go for
change. Well, why
approval.
put it on the website?
Well, it was requested, it went on there, we got it on there to share it. But there's a lot of issues that have come up and it's antiquated, it doesn't make sense in today's, a lot of this stuff comes
Should
back
they
from
be
the
on the
sixties.
agenda then?
Well, it's follow through,
Okay.
okay? Anybody else? Jack, motion for budget.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Okay, so at this, there's nothing else to report.
No,
Okay.
No, I'm still working on it.
Okay. Anybody have any liaison reports? Marty?
I just want to put on the agenda for the meeting, I'd like the Environmental and Natural Assets Advisory Committee to have 5-10 minutes to make a presentation where they're heading, what they're doing.
And Terry, when are you sending out your agenda? This request?
On the 13th.
On the 13th, okay. Okay, any other, Dan?
Comprehensive Plans Committee, and I will send you a note tonight because I probably won't be close to a computer. Comprehensive Plans Committee is bringing in Dr. Memo Diriker, D-I-R-I-K-E-R, from Salisbury University to discuss with the board a proposal on putting together the necessary material to give us a new comprehensive plan instead of just a polished one. And it will be an open-ended discussion with Deriker, so the board can ask questions if they wish. But the net result of it is, if the board agrees with what they're hearing or wants to proceed with that, that will be the time to tell Dr. Deriker to come back with a formal proposal to the general manager for the board.
And when is this scheduled, do you know?
This is the next board meeting, and he will be here at 4 p.m.
So it'll be the next board meeting?
Yep. Or 9 p.m., 9 a.m., whatever time the meeting starts at 4. No. 3. He'll be here at 3.
Okay, and Jack?
Yeah, Ocean Pines Golf and Country Club. I was not there at the meeting. There was 4 o'clock on the 26th, but they send me the notes. Bob was there, so if there's anything you can add to that, please do. But I just want to point out that they generated $9,000 during 2013 as give back or gifts or charitable donations to the community, which I thought was very commendable. John Malinowski said a couple interesting, I thought they were interesting, in that he said the maintenance issues, he talked about the maintenance issues surrounding the golf course, and he said that these issues will be rectified by 2014. Greens project has been completed. Drainage issues in holes 10 and 11 have been completed. New batteries installed in the carts. Testing Bermuda grass on various spots on the course. And he said that the course is in great shape, and John has been getting favorable feedback from package play. Bob, anything you need to add to that?
No, what the most interesting thing for me at the meeting was the type of, if you look at the last 3 years of going to the meeting, even though people had things they had concerns about, the concerns were so much easier this year than prior years. It was just a very nice, really, there's been a lot of changes, and now when the issues have narrowed down to where they are, I think they're always going to be these type of issues. But I thought that was interesting, and they really, echoing what Jack had said, I really liked they talked about the $9,000 in scholarships and things that they give them back. That was pretty neat to hear. That's a group that really is working hard to give back.
Very much.
And on the meeting of the commissioners, I think there may be some things that we should know about. I'm not going to expand on them and get into any details, but there was a public hearing concerning Pines Plaza water and sewer extension, which I think would have to cross Ocean Pines land to get to the sewage plant.
Don't they stay in the right of way?
Yeah, I can speak to that real quick if you want.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
They've actually hired a contractor that's going to start the work as early as next week. They will start on our side of 589 because they've called about putting their excavator and some of the pipes on. If you're standing facing 589 and you have the Cumbie-Taylor Bank, and then our property's to your right, there's right between the two, there's an easement, 20-foot easement. and that's where they're going to start they'll start on that side and then go across and make the connection. So, and that should start as early as next week.
And I've got, there's a map in here as to the area affected and stuff like that. If you want to see it, I'm going to turn it into our
Jack,
Michelle. And
before you leave that one, did they talk at all about going
there
across
was
Castle?
there was a public hearing
Yeah.
afterward. We didn't stay for the public hearing. It didn't start till 1:30.
What?
So no, they did not talk about.
What I'm asking about is did they provide you with a map that said that they were going to also extend the water and sewer across Capitol Road?
No, they did not.
Okay, thank you.
No, the map that is included here
It's just Pines Plaza.
basically indicates
Pines
the
Plaza,
area,
7-Eleven,
yeah,
that
Pines
whole
Plaza,
area
yeah,
back
yeah.
there, right.
down to got it. The 7-Eleven, not the 7-Eleven, the McDonald's, et cetera, et cetera.
You know, McDonald's is a huge problem.
Also, FYI, State of Maryland was there, the Roads Commission, whatever they call themselves now, that used to be State Roads Commission, I don't know what they are now. State Highway Administration, okay. There is a project on the books on 589, study for the potential, study, keyword study for the potential improvements to the existing Maryland 589 corridor from 50 to 113. Bicycles, pedestrians will be accommodated by a shared use path and sidewalks.
Thank you, Elvis, for getting hit.
That exceptions will be required in order to put this thing. It's maybe 2020. We'll see something along those lines. You may be interested in this. You may not, since it cuts through our community. The City of Ocean City has asked the Maryland Department of Transportation, and they have contacted the county. They want to dual up 90, including the bridges, which is a major project. The goal would be to enhance customer service and experience, but drastically enhance the motorist's ability to access and exit Ocean City. When considering the massive influx of tourism Ocean City experiences on a typical summer day, this project should have been completed years ago. So, I'm assuming, I don't know who owns the land adjacent to Route 90 when it cuts through Ocean Pines. I assume we do, right?
State does.
Yeah, so they're going to take the T box number, what is that, 11 or 2?
No, they already have the
Parking
right
lot
of way.
wider
Yeah.
instead of
It's going to be this stuff.
So if you want to see that, that's in there. And then the last one,
Do you think any of us will be alive?
hell no. And the last two items are for Bob, and in case he's interested. This is how they bid in trucks. They've got a couple bids on trucks. They use Frederick Chrysler, Criswell Fleet, Hedrich Fleet, King Buick, and they got the prices associated with that. They also bought a dump, and they have the prices associated with that. So I'll put it in the facts in case you want to review it, see how they're doing it. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Bill?
I have a marine advisories. We're scheduled for Monday morning, but I see the office is closed. Is that building going to be open? Do I need you have them adjust something?
Monday's a holiday.
I just noticed the sign on the door, but
Yeah.
we're still scheduled for a meeting. I'm going to give you a timeline that the Marine Advisories Committee sent out for the White Horse Park Pier. Would you please send me feedback on this timeline? I already sent some feedback, and I'm not going to get into that, but send me some feedback on this project and on temporary bulkheads from the board. Okay? Please.
I have a report on the
You already have one.
aquatics.
So let me know.
No, it's only-
I mean, for
Yeah, I
next
know, I
month.
understand. Yeah, I
Thank you.
understand.
But please send that to me by email before the meeting on Monday, if you wouldn't mind. I'd appreciate that.
I have a report on aquatics, which met today. Public Works was there. All the pools have been winterized. The aquatics committee is pleased with the status of all that being done. Their report is been sent to all of you, their annual report. There are several issues that need to be addressed with the aquatics and the pools. And I have kind of a prioritized list that they'd like to deal with. So there's quite a lot going on in that committee, but it's pretty well spelled out in the annual report, so. By the way, that also just a reminder, at 7 o'clock tonight are all the executive council meetings. So, annual reports will be
Sharon?
in there. Yes.
You didn't ask for any comments on the discussion promotion of Budget and Finance Committee.
We haven't,
Well, it's on the agenda. I'd like to make a comment.
okay, let me finish with this,
Okay,
then
I
I'll
thought
come
you
back to
were
that,
done.
all right? Is there any,
Whoa.
wait, hold off on that. Is there anything else with any liaison reports?
Aquatics.
Yes, sir.
Are the pools at 17 inches from the scuppers?
They're all
Water-wise?
different, Marty. Some of them have very little water in them, such as the one at the Swim and Racket Club. It's just the bowl has water in it. Now that's really above ground pool, so that's why they had to do things differently. So each pool has a different requirement.
That's why the vinyl liner has failed, because there's no water. in
I
it.
am not an expert on it. I'm just telling you that the committee has reviewed everything.
Read the warning.
And okay, I don't have that.
The warning says void if you take the water out of the pool.
I'm just telling you what the report is.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm not the expert on it.
Well, should we do anything about it? I mean, whose fiduciary responsibility is it?
Jack, it's been through
No, I mean, it's a question.
the
I'm not-
committee who have pool experts on there. They're satisfied with the Public Works has done it, and our new yacht club pool was done by the people who installed it and is supervised by us.
So am I hearing that he has one opinion and the committee has another opinion?
I
Is that
think
what I'm
so.
hearing?
Yeah, I think that's what you
Okay.
That's fine.
I'm devastated.
Okay. Any other reports and liaisons? Okay. Any other comments from anyone on the board before I go to Joe? First question. Okay, Joe?
Do you intend to bring this motion up at the meeting, next board meeting, Jack?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Purpose of this. is
Well, you
aware-
see, we can't do anything here. This is a working session. The motion is actually tabled in its current, the current status of the motion
I
is.
don't want to get into discussion with you, Jack, but the idea was it would be discussed at this meeting, and then the motion be made, and you said you haven't done anything yet.
No.
But at any rate, I'd just like to make a comment with regard to that I don't know why this motion is even up there, because the general manager has every right, and I think in some way, a good idea to talk to the Budget and Finance Committee members without even asking this board of directors. He doesn't need your permission. He can go and call Joe Blow down the street and ask his opinion about anything he wants. So he can go and ask the Budget and Finance Committee. I think it would behoove him to do so. I don't know why the board's all involved in this, but anyway, that's my opinion.
Tom, do you have a question? Okay. Unless there's any more discussion, call for motion to adjourn?
Nope, I got
Oops.
one last thing.
Okay.
I have a letter from Sandpaper, their lawyer. Language, there is one date in here that needs to be changed, because it's got the wrong date for the end in the extension. I need you all to look at that. It's in your hands, and I will be reaching out to you for your reaction to it. It basically codifies the extension for the negotiations that we talked about, except that I'd say April 1st, 2015. And it has been reviewed by our lawyer in South Salisbury, so I do want to get that in everybody's hands.
So what do we need to do with this?
Just read it and tell me if you got any comments.
Do you want us to read it now? Comment? Okay.
You get an email from me.
Can,
The policy's gonna apply.
Is this the last extension letter with a change date in it?
Basically, I haven't got the other one with me, but yeah, it's basically the same words.
If you see that there's any material change, would you send us all a copy
Sure.
of the last one? If you have it on file, I don't.
Yeah,
So,
I get it. I got it.
thanks.
Motion for adjournment.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? We are done. Thank you, everybody.
Oh, wait.
Thank you, Michelle.